Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Lightsworn. Lightsworn just got some massive support in the most recent set in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and we're going to go over it, with its best counterpart being Tier. And we're playing a 60-card Tier deck that basically looks the exact same as Jesse Cotton's list, except for, instead of Horus, it's Lightsworn. It's basically it, right? Because here's the thing. It's a pretty good list. Generically, right? So yeah, there you go. It's yeah, that's all I have to say. So let's just move on and talk about this list, and more specifically, let's talk about the Lightsworn stuff, because honestly, I think it shines. It might even be better than the Horus stuff for this specific build. Yeah, it kind of goes crazy. I don't want to say for certain whether Horus or Lightsworn is better, but honestly, they're so close in terms of power that you could play either one if you wanted to play a 60-card list and realistically do pretty well, which I think is fantastic. Let's actually talk about the Lightsworn stuff. Starting off here with probably the most impactful new card, that being Lightsworn Dragonling, which says if you have a Lightsworn monster in your grave, special summon this card from your hand. On top of that, if special summoned, you can send a Lightsworn card from your deck to the grave. And if sent to the grave, you get to add Punishment Dragon, or technically you could also add Judgment Dragon as well. However, Judgment Dragon is not as useful. Most notably due to the fact that Punishment Dragon is easier to actually summon, right? Which sounds kind of weird, but like, I guess they're technically both easy to summon, but Punishment is a little bit better. It has like a better effect as well. So there's that. We're just playing the one, right? Then of course we have Weiss, which is also pretty decent, which says you can place one other Lightsworn from your hand onto the top of the deck, special summon this card, and then send the top two cards of your deck to the grave. Really, really good for your Lightsworns. And most notably, you can put things like Wolf or Fellis back onto the top of the deck and then mill them immediately, which is really fantastic. So drawing these alongside the Weiss is not a brick, which is pretty good. So yeah, really, really good. And then also if sent to the graveyard, you can reborn another of your Lightsworns in grave. Pretty decent. We also have Punishment Dragon, which says it can be special summoned by banishing, or if you possess 4 or more banished Lightsworns with different names. This is pretty easy to fulfill with the Synchro monster, which we'll talk about as well. And then once per turn, pay 1,000 life points, shuffle into the deck all cards in the graves, and all face-up banished cards, except for Lightsworn monsters. And then once per turn, if Lightsworn monster activates its effect, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the grave, which is pretty good. But most notably, it's an 8. Do you know why that's important? Guess what? Zombie Vampire. That's why, because Minerva is also an 8. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. If you don't know, we also are playing 3 apiece of Wolf and Fellis, which just bring themselves back if sent to the graveyard. Fellis specifically has to be sent to the graveyard by monster effect, whereas Wolf just summons itself, right? Both of them are mandatory effects as well, which is kind of funny, which means that you play into Ash Blossom, or not Ash, Maxi a bit more, which is a bit of an issue, but the tier stuff kind of can make up for that. You can also tribute this card in order to target a card on the field and destroy it, and then send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. Pretty good. Then, of course, we have probably the best card in Lightsworn, which is Charge of the Light Brigade, which sends the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, and then adds a level 4 or lower Lightsworn from your deck to your hand. Now, this is very, very nice, just due to the fact that you get to mill things like Snow, like the Shufflers, like Destrudo, or Wolf and Fellis. Well, more so Wolf, right? Or Dragonling, or Weiss, or stuff like that. So, very, very good card, all things considered. Oh, you can also mill Trivia Karma, which is great. Probably the best Lightsworn card. As for the rest of the Lightsworn cards, we are also running 1 Minerva and 1 Minerva in the extra. Kind of weird. We're also running Curious, but yeah. We have the Athenian Light and then the Exalted Lightsworn. And Minerva, the Athenian Light, is the Synchro monster, which allows you with just generic material, a tuner and a non-tuner. Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects. Notable. Also, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the grave up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as material. So, if you use a tuner and a non-tuner, you can then send 2 Lightsworns. Great, fantastic. Now, you have 4 Lightsworns in grave, potentially, right? Because you can use those other Lightsworns for other things, right? Other extra deck monsters. And then, where is it? You can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your grave to send that many cards from the top of your deck to the grave. Again, being able to mill cards, but most notably, you banish them as cost, which gives you immediately access to Punishment Dragon, which is pretty decent as well. Because then, with Punishment Dragon and the Minerva, you immediately are able to go into the Zombie Vampire. This is why we're playing Punishment Dragon as opposed to Judgment Dragon. Judgment Dragon is still good, but being able to nuke your own field is not nearly as good as just putting a guy on field, right? So, there you go. Anyway, moving on. We are also running, of course, Minerva, which just detaches to mill 3, and then on top of that, if it's destroyed, you also mill another 3, and then you also can destroy cards on the field up to the number of Lightsworn sent to the graveyard for that effect. Pretty good. Also, you send the top 3, and then you draw cards equal to the number of Lightsworns. I forgot to add the effect that, yeah, you draw cards. This card's very, very good. Let me tell you this right now, stop this card. Ash it, impermanent, do something. Stop this card, right? One of my opponents didn't do that, and it literally killed them. So, there you go. But that's basically it for the Lightsworn stuff. The rest is pretty standard tier shenanigans. I'm not going to go over all of it too much. But yeah, it's pretty simple, right? Grass. I honestly, not going to lie to you guys, I forgot to add grass to this list. It did not matter. I didn't need it. Even though I had, like, Left Arm Offering in a couple of my hands, I just milled so many that grass just wasn't worth it. So keep that in mind. But yeah, the rest of the main deck is not too interesting. The only thing that of note is that we are also playing the Abyss Dweller, we're playing Zombie Vampire, we're playing Zeraboros as well, and then I decided to play the 2 Lingaribo because I'm scared of Ibli. That's basically it. Anyway, that's going to be it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going second, and yeah, our hands is honestly pretty good. 3 really good starters, and well, maybe we just lose to Fenrir. Let's see what happens here. Oh, what is happening? Fire King. Fire King pop Barong? This is pure Fire King, by the way. Very, very interesting. But my opponent just decides to, like, have a stroke halfway through this. You'll see what I mean in a second. They go for the Garunix here. They pop the High Avatar Kieran, and then special summon back the Barong. Now, notably, Barong needs to be popped to actually have its effect go, so that happened. They then link off for IP Masquerena, and then again for Promethean Princess. I don't know what we're making with Promethean Princess. Of course, we go for the Rise Hard. Right. And then, you know, banish, of course, my tier cache, the one of. Anyway, they go for Sunlight Wolf here. My opponent is having a stroke. They are in the process of having a stroke. But they had back Kieran, and they set a card. Interesting. Kind of some weird choices, and again, it gets weirder. But honestly, this duel is still very cool. We go Pearl Rhino, grab up the Sheeran, and then we're going to activate the effect of our charge, and we mill Destrudo, which is pretty nice. We're going to grab the Dragonling here. We're going to go for the Sheeran, pitching the Wolf, and then milling 3, and of course, we hit Weiss and Havness, so that's pretty good. So we're going to special summon back the Wolf, and then fuse here into Kit Colors. We're going to activate the effect of the Kit. We're going to activate the effect of the Pearl Rhino, popping the Set Skyburn. They had Skyburn. They just drew Skyburn, right? They searched, mind you, Fire King Sanctuary off of the Ponix, and they decided to just go Skyburn and just set it and not really do anything with that. So that's a choice from my opponent. I don't know why we didn't try to, like, set that up and use it, but okay. Reminder, they also still have Kieran in hand, so they could have potentially delayed this Pearl Rhino. Anyway, I special summon the Dragonling here, which triggers the Scream, and then we also hit another Dragonling as well as the Fellis, which is pretty good. So we're gonna go Dragonling, we're gonna go search out Punishment Dragon. We also hit, did we also hit Weiss? Am I crazy? No, we just hit that. Now they decided to go for the High Avatar Kieran because they are scared of the Fellis. So there's that. They're going to go here for the Garunix. Garunix is going to pop the Kieran. Kieran is going to bring out the Ponix. They're going to pop. They're going to search out a second Fire King Sanctuary, and then they're going to immediately synchro into, link into the SP Little Knight, banishing the Kit Colors. Now, reminder, they banished the Kit Colors. Keep that in mind, okay? Anyway, we're going to grab up Triple Tack here. Why? Because I already have 37 cards. I would mill 10 with grass, and I think Triple Tack is just better here. So we're going to go Triple Tack. I'm going to take. They're going to go and banish. I'm like, great, that's fantastic. We're going to grab the Garunix here. We're going to go Destrudo. Destrudo effect is going to activate. They're going to be like, no tuners. To be fair, that was pretty bad for me. Like, sorry, not for me, but yeah, the Destrudo popping I didn't have a target for that. The best that I was going to do is make, like, Dark. So, there's that. Anyway, we go Simare, and I don't have Fusion Material. But that's okay, because we can go Minerva. We're going to activate the effect of the Minerva. We're going to mill. Not great. I believe we drew Crime there, which was kind of funny. We're just going to go Combat here, and we're going to Crash so that we can mill a few more, as well as potentially pop a card. We pop that one. We go for the Wolf here. We go for the Rhino Heart as well, and we're going to pitch Crime, Reminder, Reminder as well. Kit was banished. Crime's going to put it back. We send Sheeran, which cannot activate in the damage step. It's fine. We just make we just make SP and then pass on the turn. And back comes our cards. We have Meta Noise. I think it's fairly decent. But yeah, this is not looking good. We mill. We hit Jet. Not great, but my opponent walks over the field, and I'm like, oh no, am I just dead? They hit Meta Noise. Cool. And Meta Noise, grab back Havness. There's a chance, chat. There's a chance. They crash here. I don't know why they don't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know why they decided to do this the way they did, but it's all good. They're going to go for the Garunix. They're going to pop here with the Arvada now. I don't know why we didn't do that earlier, but it's fine. That they walk into the field, and 600. Not even close. Ooh, baby. But yeah, out comes the Arvada. They're going to pop my field spell. Honestly, probably popping Scream was better there, but popping the field spell is also pretty good. We're going to go for the Jet Synchron to try and force out some sort of interaction. No interaction is forced out, so we just grab the Grief off of the Tribute Karma, which is pretty good. We're going to go for the Grief here. We're going to special summon back the Sheeran from the grave, because we just had 2 Sheerans in grave. That is then going to trigger the Arvada, which then allows me to go for the Havness here. We mill Snow, which is the important part. We also hit Scream, and we go for the Dotscaper, and now we get to go for Destrudo. Now, it's not great, but again, I know my opponent's going to go, no! And yeah, that was kind of funny. They also bring back the Kieran, which is cute, but doesn't matter, because now we get to go for Snow, and we can Synchro for 8 into Minerva. Minerva, the Athenian Light, is going to banish 1, 2, 3. Which is then going to allow me to mill 3. They also banished Dotscaper here. I don't know why. I don't know why the Dotscaper was the choice there. But anyway, we go for the Fellas here. They're going to then Summon into Hyung. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Out comes Punishment Dragon, normal summon Rhino Heart. I don't have a target for the Rhino Heart because everything is either in grave or banished. It's all in grave. Oh, they banished the tier cache here, which did matter, right? So there's that. But Snow is a fair and balanced Yu-Gi-Oh card that allows me to go into Dark and then immediately use the Dark to go into the IP Masquereno, which then allows me to go into Zeraboros. Hooray. Big! Snow is fair. That's all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Good game. Alright, here we are once again going second, and yeah, this is once again a hand that is all sorts of gas. We also drew Havness again, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there you go. My opponent's on Voiceless, so they're going to do their Voiceless stuff, which is pretty cool. They're going to activate their effect. I'm going to activate mine. I milled Sheeran, because of course I do. So we're going to immediately fuse here and go for the Kit Kalos. We're going to activate the effect of the Kit Kalos. We're going to send the Sheeran. Or the SnowiKs. SnowiKs is going to grab Kit, or Tier Cache. And then I forgot to turn my Chain Link on and activate the Kit. Oops. Anyway, they go for Barrier, and then they link off here for Dynamondo, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I can go Tier Cache here. So they shuffle away a card, they go for the Blessing here, and I'm like, I'm going to activate the Tier Cache now, banishing the SnowiKs to potentially mill a few more cards, and yeah, that's a pretty good one. I mean, it's not insane, but like, it's pretty good. We put 2 bodies onto the field, as well as grabbing up the Judgment Dragon. I'll take it. So yeah, you know, and one of them's a tuner. This is pretty good, right? Havness is crazy, by the way. I think both of these games were kind of just decided by Havness. But last time, they were decided by Droplet, so there you go. My opponent's going to do their whole thing here in the draw phase to grab up the Sorovis, as well as putting the Radiance into the back row, and that's pretty good. I just pitched Moodora here with the Jet Synchron, trying to fetch out some sort of interaction. My opponent decides to negate the Minerva. Smart. But, hey, guess what? Minerva 2, Electric Boogaloo. My opponent then decides to go for the other Sorovis. I'm like, okay, I'm going to banish 3 here to mill 3, which is, again, something they decided to allow me to do. I grab up Crime here, which is kind of funny, and then we're going to go and special summon here with the Punishment Dragon, because we just searched it, right? And now they have 4 banished, one of which my opponent banished for me, which is kind of funny. But this then forces out the, forces the opponent to go for the Sorovis again, so away goes the zombie vampire. But now I can go charge the Light Brigade, milling a whole bunch of cards, and yeah, that triggers Dotscaper, which is pretty nice. And then we get to go for the Lightsworn, sending the Fellis. Fellis effect is going to activate, special summon. And then we link off for the Link Karibo here, or the Lingaribo here, in order to go into the SP Little Knight. We're going to activate the effect of the SP Little Knight, banishing the barrier, which will force the opponent to negate. And I'm like, okay. And then out comes the second charge of the Light Brigade, hitting mostly tier names, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. Also, if you're wondering why charge doesn't trigger it, it's because it sends for cost, right? It sends for cost and then adds cards, right? So milling a tier name doesn't trigger the tier name because it's not sent for effect. But that doesn't matter because we have Weiss here. So we're going to activate the Weiss here, and then it just mill 2 Lightsworn names that special summon themselves. Kind of crazy. And now we can make the most stupid card that is still not banned, Curious. Curious is here, so we mill 3, and then also gets to activate the Sheeran effect. Out comes Kit Kalos, and mill an additional 3. We hit Wolf, because of course we do. We also hit Grief, which is kind of funny. So we're going to add back the Soliac. We're going to go for the Kit here. We're going to grab Scream. Also, reminder, at this point, I still don't have Grass. So this left arm offering, even if I had activated it, would not have done much. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, we're going to go for the mill 8, feel great, except it's mill 11, we are in heaven. So we're going to mill 11 here, which is crazy, and we hit Meta Noise, grab the Sheeran, we go for the Trivia Karma, we also go for the Rhino Heart. I'm also going to shuffle back the field spell so that we can actually use it. I'm also going to shuffle back, most notably, Minerva, which we can make, because we haven't used its first effect, which is kind of cute, as well as the SP Little Knight, because it's funny. So we're going to grab up the Perla Rhino off of the Trivia Karma, then send the Sheeran to the graveyard for the Rhino Heart, and then trigger the Rhino Heart to send the Havness, which we haven't used. Activate Havness effect, we're going to shuffle back and go into Kaleido Heart. And we're going to shuffle away the barrier. Now we can go for the effect, or now we can synchro into Minerva. Minerva is going to send 2. We're going to go for the Wolf. We're going to go for, well, actually, we're going to go for the Weiss in order to bring back the Fellis, because I want Fellis more so than anything. And now we grab the Sheeran. We're going to activate the effect of the Fellis to try and pop the Skull Guardian, to which my opponent will activate the Saravis that they have in hand. Pretty decent. And now we can go to Strudo, because guess what? We still have Baron, because this card still exists for some reason. We're going to pop that guy. They're going to activate the effect to do this thing, and I'm going to be, no, don't do that. And then I normal summon. I hadn't normaled. That was all done without me normaling. Cool deck. Anyway, good game. Wild. Alright, here we are, once again, going second, once again, with Havness, this time with Droplet. But trust me, it's actually not like the other games. Not in the slightest. We do have left arm offering, so we could potentially go for left arm offering. Now, I know what you're saying. Why have we not gone left arm offering? Well, 2 reasons. 1, Macrocosmos, I fear for my life. And 2, I'm almost certain they have a Maxi in their hand, which, again, I fear for my life. So, we're going to hold off. Why do I not set the Droplet? Because I'm stupid. That's why. There's no other reason. Also, I'm pretty sure my opponent has breaks, so that's kind of why we're doing this the way that we are. I'm going to normal summon the Havness so that now we have the Meta Noise online, because I'm like, oh, this might be like stun. So, yeah, we'll just go to combat. Set this one. Again, I'm still thinking it's stun, not going to use the left arm offering. Also, you can't set cards when you use left arm. And then my opponent normal summons Jet, I'm like, no. It was Super Poly. And they did have a Roach. Oops. Now, if Havness had a target, this would be pretty bad for my opponent. I don't. I just go combat. So, like, it's not the worst, but oops. Let's see what we can do here. Hopefully this left arm offering resolves. Okay, not terrible. I'm just going to normal summon this guy just to have him on field. We grab Grass. And it resolves. Woo. Grass. Woo. At this point, the game is over. Or is it? I'm going to activate a whole bunch of cards, and then my opponent's going to activate Maxi. Cool. Well, I'm going to bring back Fellis, and then I'm going to search out Punishment Dragon, and then I'm going to bring, and then I'm going to mill 2, and then I'm going to shuffle back 2 in order to go into the Kit Kalos, and then I'm going to special summon out the Wolf, and then I'm going to special summon out the Wolf, and my opponent now has 5 cards. And there was nothing I could have done about that. Half of these were mandatory. No! It's fine. I'm just going to kill him. We're going to go for the Minerva here. We're going to activate the effect of the Minerva. We're going to send 2, one of them being Wolf. We're going to go for the Wolf here. We're then going to activate this in order to banish 1, 2, 3, 4, and mill 4. We hit Trivia Karma, which is cool. So we're going to go for the Trivia Karma, add the Perla Rhino, activate the effect of the Perla Rhino, grab up the Rhino Heart, and at this point, I do not care because I have Snow, so whatever they have in hand, I can deal with it. Trust. So, yeah, they go for it. Spirit of Yubel. I'm like, oh no! Good thing I have Droplet. So we're going to Droplet here, we're going to send away this guy, we're going to negate the effects of Spirit of Yubel, they're going to go for the Spirit of Yubel, summoning out the Yubel, I'm like, okay, that's fine, I'm going to make you miss timing, which seems kind of strange, but trust, stick with me here, right? So we're going to shuffle back 3 of our cards. We're going to shuffle back the Grief, the Sheeran, and the Droplet. I don't know why I shuffled Droplet, but I did. And now it comes Snow. We're going to go Snow, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Perla Rhino, which forces them to miss timing. Comedy. That's how that works. That because the chain is still resolving, when the card is popped, this is timing. So, good game. Hilarious. Snow is a fun and interesting card. And I gotta show you this last duel. Once again, going second. I had some pretty good games going first, but they were not nearly as interesting as my going second ones. So, there's that. And you'll see why in a second. This hand is godlike, by the way. This was the best I drew all day. So, there's that. Anyway, we go for the Havness. We mill a name and a name for tier cash. And Snow. What the heck? And then, of course, we mill even better. We hit Fellas and Rhino Heart. We're going to go Rhino Heart. I'm going to pitch Scream here because reasons. And then we're going to go for the Rhino Heart. And we're going to search out SnowiKs with the Scream. And we're going to send Sheeran. And Sheeran's effect is going to activate. We're going to fusion summon into Kaleido Heart. I summoned, like, 5 times during my opponent's turn. My opponent activated 1 fucking card. Cool. This is why people hated tier when tier was meta, when tier was tier 0. And then I just normal summon a Rhino Heart. This game sucked. I just had to show you. What was that? That was nasty. What the? Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, yeah, this deck's pretty fun. I think I enjoy it more than the Horus stuff. I just personally don't like the Horus cards. But all in all, I do really enjoy the additions of the Lightsworn cards and what they provide to tier element, right? Additional mills, additional bodies on the field to go into more powerful, like, synchros and Xyz and stuff like that. Easier access to things like Zeraboros and Curious, most notably. It's, like, extremely easy to make Curious in this deck. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I really like this. This is probably my most favorite deck right now. Maybe. It's my favorite deck to play right now, which is, there is something about grass decks. They just draw better. I don't know what it is, but they really do just draw better. So there's that. But there you go. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. This was just a really solid deck, and it was extremely fun. Is it worth to build Lightsworn? Honestly, because of how cheap Lightsworn is, yes. There's 2 URs that you need, right? Dragonling and Charge. Everything else is SR, I guess, except for if you want to get, like, Punishment Dragon. If you also want to get Judgment Dragon, that's also a UR. But for the most part, those are, like, 1-ofs, maybe 2-ofs in like, Lightsworn just in general, right? But for the most part, it's a 1-of, right? So it's, like, 2 1-of URs, maybe 3, right? If you were going to play Judgment Dragon, right? The Curious, the Punishment, and then the other 3. So it's 9 total URs if you want to build all of Lightsworn. And then you can slot that into a myriad of different decks. You can play it pure, you can play it with Runic, you can play it in this build as well. You can play it with Bystials, you can play it with Centurion. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. It's a very interesting deck. I would highly recommend it, and it's very fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, I like us very much, so appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.